y'all. Welcome back to Moments with Miss Amy. I am so glad you joined me. So today I want to talk to you a little bit about being patient and waiting. I know, right? Like, who likes to be patient and wait? I know it's a real challenge for me, and it's something that I continually work on. When I have to wait for something, there's a couple of different things. If it's a situation where I'm like waiting in line somewhere or something like that, I'll strike up a conversation with someone around me. Why not? They're waiting too, and it helps. We can both keep each other occupied. Or perchance I'll take that time to get onto my phone and I'll catch up on some messages, or maybe even do a little bit of reading. I've always got books in my phone that I can just stand and read while I'm there waiting. But sometimes that waiting isn't like that. It's like waiting to find out what's going to happen. It's like waiting to find out what an answer is to something that we really want to know. It's like waiting to find out what's going on in this world and when's it going to get better. Those things are so hard to wait for. And sometimes they can cause anxiety and anxiousness in us. We can get worried and we can start feeling completely overwhelmed. And if we're focused on those things, like that last part where I was talking about what's going on in the world, I mean, because just waiting in line to get up to the front at the checkout or whatever, generally, even though it can be frustrating, it is something we've kind of learned to accept, right? But waiting to find out when there's going to be positive things going on in the world, feeling like that all we're hearing about is negative, between the coronavirus, between the war that's going on now over with the Ukraine and Russia, between just so much political unrest and just all these restrictions and so many things going on. And it just feels like we're continually hearing about one more negative thing. Gas prices are going up. Prices are going up. People are sick. This is happening. You know what I mean? There's just like continual barrage of all of this negativity. And if we focus on that, here's the thing. What we focus on is what we draw to us. So if we're focusing on negative, guess what? We're going to start feeling negative, because that's all we're seeing, hearing, and we're drawing it to us. Now, I'm not saying to stick your head in the sand and not know what's going on out there and around there. But let me tell you what, there is definitely enough people out there that are really focused on all the negative stuff that's going on, that if you don't worry. They will catch you up when they get a chance to talk to you. You're not going to miss out. And you can always catch a headliner here and there if you want to make sure that you keep in the loop a little bit. And then when it's something you feel you need to jump into, then you can check it. But instead of just constantly having it on, and that's all you're hearing, that's all you're feeling, that's all you're talking about, that's all that's happening. Oh, just even talking about it, y'all, like seriously, is just making me feel a little bit overwhelmed here. Because I don't do that. I have learned in my life that if there's something that I need to know that's a big deal, someone will let me know. I'm going to give you a couple of different examples, okay? And the first one was many years ago when our little girl, Georgia, was just a wee little teeny baby. And I did not put on the negative news channels that are out there. I'm not going to throw any names of any of them out there. But I did not put those on. Instead, I had on like different kids' educational stuff and songs and different Christian things, stuff that I wanted to have as a positive going into this child's mind. Plus, since I was being at home after being used to working, I'm there all the time, so I wanted upbeat stuff too. So, which is probably why I can tell you, a lot of the Barney songs, because, I got them kind of memorized. But anyways, it was a situation that I kept all the positive going on. Now, one of my friends was completely aghast at that. She's like, oh my gosh, you won't know what's going on in the world. And I'm like, I'm fine. Trust me. Everything's good. Well, sure enough, that was back when the Gulf War started. So, yes, with Georgia when she was first born, it was around that time, and the war was going on. And guess what? I found out about it. Honestly, it was from that friend who was so worried because I wasn't watching the news all the time. But it's still a situation I wasn't left out of the loop. And guess what? When my husband came home from work, he also talked to me about it. So it's not like you're not going to know what's going on if you don't just always fill yourself with whatever negative is happening around you. And then the other time that it happened, my husband was home and he was outside working on the car, and my daughter and I were also home, and we received a phone call because our family knew that we really don't watch television much at all. So at that time, we didn't have the phones to just be able to boom, check and see what's going on, not with everything like it is now. And so we got the phone call because the towers had been hit. And honestly, the phone call was immediate, and so we jumped on the news, and so we were actually watching for the second tower. So it's not like we're completely out of the loop and don't get exposed to anything, but we choose what we get exposed to. I don't know if you've ever heard of the, what is that, the motto, the mantra, whatever, of garbage in, garbage out. And that's so true, is if all we're doing is pouring the negative within ourselves, we will find that it starts to actually come out of us. Like, we speak more negatively, we feel more negative, and we look at things in a more negative light. Again, it's because of what we're focused on. So if we can learn to be patient and to not surround ourselves constantly with the negative, but actually be brave and courageous and just go about focusing on the things that are going to make our life more positive, it's actually going to cause a more positive ripple and impact out there for everyone else. And so with that, I'm going to share a little scripture for you. Psalm 27:14. And yes, you'll notice it's on an index card because I keep this scripture by me. This scripture gives me comfort and helps to remind me where my focus needs to be. So, Psalm 27:14. Wait patiently for the Lord. Be brave and courageous. Yes, wait patiently for the Lord. Simply trust and believe. So my belief is that God knows everything that's going on, and he knows what's happening, and he knows what's going on in my life. And that if I can just be brave and courageous and move ahead in a positive manner for the things that I know I'm destined to do, for the things that I know are the impact that I can make in this world, if I can move that direction and be brave and courageous and wait on the Lord to help me to know what else I can do, which direction I need to be going in, and to know that he's got me. Just wait on the Lord. He's going to reveal the good that's out there. And I know that. And to simply trust and believe that he's got this all in his hands. Now, I am not speaking light of what's going on. Y'all, we know that at this time, there is the war that is beginning over there in the Ukraine and Russia. And that is not a good thing. It is not a positive thing. That doesn't mean that we can't pray for those people, help support those people. I've loved seeing the different influx of information on the internet, on social media, about how different groups are stepping up and sending food and supplies and helping out. And I think that's amazing. And I think those are areas we can be happy and be positive and helpful about. And I think that's what we need to do. But I also think that if all we do is be anxious because we're worried about what's happening around us and we're not trusting and believing, then we're missing out. Because there's so much good that we can be doing right now that can be helping to offset some of the bad that's going on. So if the bad is coming at you in every which direction, stop, breathe, be brave and courageous, and see what the Lord would have you to do. You know what? No matter how young or how old you are, there are things you can do to be able to help others out there in the world. Trust and believe that. And find out what it is that you can do. A lot of times when we take action, that's what helps the fear to dissipate. We can be brave and courageous because we stepped up and we did something to help out. So I hope that this gave you a little bit of comfort I hope that this gave you a little bit of incentive to be strong, be brave, be courageous. And I hope that as we go about these times where there's always things that's going to be happening, but I hope that you can learn to wait on the Lord, trust the Lord, and know that He's there to comfort you and guide you. If you have any questions about any of this, please don't hesitate to shoot me an email. Up in my About section has got my email. Or you can drop a comment. I do watch for those, and I'll respond back there as well. So hey, if you haven't already subscribed, what's stopping you? What's holding you back? Come on, subscribe. Don't forget to hit that little bell. Make sure you click like, and hey, drop me a comment. Let me know what you thought. And I want to thank you again for joining me for Moments with Miss Amy.